Hello everyone and welcome to Psgl Singapore. It's been quite a while since I've made one of these videos, eh? But I assure you, I will be uploading the rest of the races for the season, as well as some of the WOR races I'm doing. You can see them live in my Twitch, the link will be in the description. Jesus Christ, though. How long? I'm 20 seconds into this record and I've already plugged my Twitch. This is going great. But, so, okay, I need to get composed. But, really important race this for qualifying. As you might imagine, super tight, but also strategy is so critical here. First lap.
Pretty conservative lap, but...
Well, you can hear me interrupting myself, and you can see Q1, one lap on the softs, and we do go through to Q2 quite easily, really. Was up in P2 at the end of the first run, and was only a 10th away from fast in the session. So that's what you need to do around here. And league racing in general, you need to hit the first lap in Q1 and try to only use one set of soft tyres, and that will set you up in the best way possible for the rest of qualifying. Q2 is absolutely critical here though, because it's so beneficial to start the race on the medium compound tyres that really, if you don't start on the mediums, and you're going to see later from some drivers who didn't go through on the mediums, how much it's going to cost them. It's a huge disadvantage because the soft tyres die, they overheat within 2 laps of being on the track. And then from that point, the tyre wear degradation is unreal. So you really have to start in the mediums out of the final corner, and we do end our medium run, provisionally P2.
Wasn't great final sector.
But as you can hear me doing line noises going, as you can hear though, I was not happy with that. And it is currently P6. I do go out at the end of the session though to try and bank one more lap on the soft, but I did get held up on my out lap, what meant the time was quite critical. You can see now I'm pushing actually really hard on my out lap here. Normally I wouldn't be pushing this hard on the final few corners, as it does risk overheating the tyres for the lap. But you can see, well, you can't actually see because my face cam is in the way.
Unlucky. But
we do run out of time.
I didn't even want to finish the lap, but just to start it for the mind games with other people would have been good.
So let me explain this comment.
That's all I would have wanted.
So to explain the comment, what I'm just making there is when people see that you've retired for the session and their engineers maybe tell the drivers that you're not going on a lap or you're done for qualifying. If they're up on their lap time and they know that they're going to beat you, it's a bit more relaxed feeling. Whereas if they know that you're on track and you might improve and push them out of the top 10, they're going to be a bit more tense naturally. So it could put a bit more pressure on the other drivers, and that's what I meant by mind games, because it can change a little bit in the session. As you can see, we only just got through.
Look at all those medium tyres.
But look, and I'm commenting live on the race from the Twitch chat.
But
so
again, credit to
many
fastest
medium runners, and the first run in Q3, I bottled it.
What a dick.
So I'm watching this back the first time in a long time. Yeah. Okay, that's a great comment about myself. But final run in Q3. We're currently P9. Completely critical to get this lap together. We do have a good delta. I think we're 34.0. So it's a really good delta to go by. My PB going into the session was like a 4.4.5. So we have a lot of pace. The first sector has been pretty good, but we did understeer quite a lot through turn 3. But we do hit the wall on the exit of turn 4 as well. You see, going out, and we do have a little bit of front wing damage. But that level of front wing damage isn't too bad on this track in qualifying, because the understeer will help conserve the rear tyres. A big snapper oversteer there. That's not going to do my rear tyres any favours at all. And you can see I'm really pushing, really hustling the car around the streets of Singapore. I was really feeling comfortable. I made my setup quite conservative, really. It wasn't the fastest outright setup, but definitely it was a setup that gave me confidence and was able to push on every single lap I was doing. See, tyre temperatures I've talked about and I'm going to continue to talk about is so vital around here. And I decided to sacrifice some lap time for that section there to keep the rear tyres a bit cooler so I could be full attack in the final sector. Purple middle sector, a 2.1 as well total time. Was pretty good. Wasn't flying. We were looking for like 0.9s there relatively in practice. So we are a few tenths off. But considering it's a session and the pressure's on, the lap is going pretty good. Now the final sector, we can make up so much time here. And just the delta is gaining. We're going to find like a 10th through his next 2 corners. See it clattering these curves. I would say that's probably my strongest 2 corners of the whole track over this race session and qualifying session for the final corner. A bit wide snap from oversteer, and we do almost invalidate going over the line. And to our surprise, and as we're getting out of the chair, we do take pole position by 0.05 over Bari, and then Jake, and then Jarno behind us. But critical, Jarno is starting on the soft tyres. I think Jarno, as you know, he's a champion. He's rapid, so I think it was an unusual mistake. I don't know fully what happened in his Q2, but yeah, Jarno is a champion. He's the best in this game. So I think it was just an unfortunate session for him. Can happen, but I'm going to let you listen to my words.
I'm going to go medium soft.
In the stream, and I'll explain what happens after.
Yeah, this is not fair. I don't like this. I don't know, if someone wants to tell the admin, it's up to them. I can't tell them now because we started, but I wouldn't stop a restart. I feel sorry for, unless everyone else has the same, I feel sorry for everyone else.
So,
because
to explain what's happening here,
it's not fair that I have like 6% less wear.
I had a glitch in my Q2 session that basically gave me a fresh set of softs, a fresh set of mediums, and gave me a used set of softs. Basically, on most other tracks would be a disadvantage, just because of this track. It's a huge advantage.
I don't think I put enough temp in the rear.
Mediums. So this is what I was saying is, if someone in my chat wants to tell the admins to restart the league, I would not stop it. I wouldn't be against it. But we can't do anything about it now. We are on the grid. See one final check of people's tyres.
Jarno and Brendon are going to undercut.
And as you can see, already predicting that Jarno and Brendon are going to undercut us in this race, and we're going to have to overtake them later in the race.
Mods are looking at chat, don't worry.
Getting focused now. Starting on pole position, the prime position around Singapore, the prime position of any track, as Will Buxton probably would say. Pole position is the fastest qualifier. But as you can see, we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. So you get a pretty good start here, instantly coming off Bari, because I was actually a bit nervous about Jarno getting a mega start and being able to slip up the inside, but fortunately not. And we're able to go through the first sector in our own clean air. And this is really the decisive point. On most tracks, it's practically impossible to pull out of the slipstream and dirty air and DRS of the cars behind. But this is Singapore. The first lap, the first 2-3 laps of Singapore is all about confidence in the car and how much can you push. And I was feeling pretty confident on this day. So I started to really push. You see, we've got 4 attempts to Bari. So we're really going to start hustling the car and try to build the gap over this first lap and see, just maybe, we can break the DRS to him. And that'll be so critical and making our race so much easier if we could do it. So going through this section, half a second now to Bari, but he's following really closely. But we absolutely nail this section on the first lap of the race. So it started at 5 tenths going into the corner. And you can see now it's up to high 6 tenths, was peaking at 7 tenths down the straight. And we're using quite a bit of battery into the final sector. This, as I talked about in qualifying, was a sector that I set up my tyre pressures and the setup in general for the car for, to make sure I always had good grip, good predictability, because the tyres are always going to overheat around Singapore in this game. It's just a matter of making the compromise so they're just not that bad. You see, up to 8 tenths, and I was talking about so much confidence in this final sector, especially through these 2 corners. And you see, it was about 8 tenths going into the corner, exiting it's 9.2 tenths to Bari through the final corner, send it in, and that has been the onboard for the first lap. And now skipping all the way to the start of lap 3, we've got 1.4 seconds to Bari. And we've still got quite a bit of battery, and now my strategy was just to drain the battery and go. Just push as hard as I can, try and build the gap, because I do not want to be undercutted by Bari this race. I accepted the fact that probably Jarno, probably Danny is going to undercut me. But I cannot lose track position to people on the same strategy as me. As you can see, lap 7, basically 3 seconds now to Bari. 4 seconds to Jake as well. Nicholas Longue, P4 in the Red Bull. Tomek 7 seconds behind. So this race is falling into good position. You see, tyre temperatures are still well in the window, even though it's the first sector, so it's the lightest tyre temperatures you'll see of all the lap. And now moving the brake bias a little bit forward, just to help save those rears and make the pads a bit more bearable as we go into a longer stint of the race. Because there's going to be so much train of cars here. You do not maybe want to box on the first lap possible, on most other tracks would be obvious. But the people who watched my Monaco race from earlier in the season remember that I got pulled into an undercut situation and then instantly came out of traffic and cost me a chance to fight for the race victory there. So that was deep in my mind on this race, and this is why I was so desperate to try and pull away from Bari, to give myself extra options, just in case he did pull the undercut, that I'd go 1 or 2 laps longer and still have track position and possibly clear some slower cars on older tyres in that time. So this is really the critical phase of the race. As you can see, we're going to ride aboard for the remainder of this lap, and then we're going to skip forward, and you can see the gap grow and grow. Of course, some of that is the advantage of what I got on the fresh tyres, and I couldn't help that. As you can see, I was not against the restart. I was not trying to take advantage of the situation. Let's say I was trying to do a fair and honest race, as I always want to do. But now, skipping forward to lap 14, you see we've got 5.5 seconds. But as I was talking about, I do also believe I was driving very well this race. As you see, Nico left the session. And one person to leave the session is not too worrying. But, as you're going to see, the commentator, Dan Field, has left
Why
the session.
Why are people leaving?
And you can hear the concern in my voice. But
no.
So, normally when the commentators
okay, I need to keep focused.
When the commentators leave a league race, normally that is a pretty good sign that they're going to restart the race. As Jarno Otmay does the fastest lap of the race, so clearly he's on fresh tyres, absolutely flying. And now Liam Parnell has left the session. So I was so scared that they were going to do a red flag and restart the race here. And luckily they didn't, and Nicholas was able to rejoin. I can't remember if Liam was able to rejoin or not, and as well the commentator was able to rejoin Dan. So, right now, that's really what I'm thinking. As soon as I saw Nicholas Longay rejoin...
Okay, we keep on racing until they say...
You can hear...
We're not giving up. We're not stopping.
I had a bit more belief in my voice that they was not going to restart the session, because I was so scared right then. But, back to the driving, and we're up to 52% on the brake balance. And later on into the stint, you can see Bari has done the pit stop, and I don't have a race engineer for these races, so Chat is my engineer, and you're going to hear me talking to Chat right now.
Can we confirm Bari went to hards? Please, Chat, let me know.
So, I'm quite literally asking Chat, and you're going to see me look to my right and look at Chat.
Right, hard, confirm. Copy, thank you. Luke, you're a legend.
And that is Luke Smith, upcoming F1 esports driver. Very talented. I think he can make it to the grid one day. Was telling me in my chat that Bari did go to the hard tyres. So yeah, Chat is my race engineer for League Racing. So feel free to get involved and give me the best strategies. But now we have to really focus on this pit entry, because we know Bari's done the undercut. We had quite a big gap to him anyway, so we were safe. But looking at the mini-map, Jarno is in our pit window, as well as Tomac is just about in our pit window. So we have to maximise his pit entry. See, going down, you see, only just getting the pit limiter in and saying box this lap once I'm in the pit lane.
Good.
Nice one. Jeff is probably like, wait, you're already in the pit lane. But go to hard tyre, taking a step of water, as it is going to be the longest league race of the season, providing, of course, no outside interference with safety cars. See, Jarno, Tomek there are going to the end, as well as a risk that Philippe was going to the end as well. You see, Philippe and Jarno have now passed me on track, and Tomek is just behind me. Only 1.8 seconds at the pit exit. So that was close. Another lap and he probably would have got me. But, lap 23. Right up behind Jarno Otmay. He's doing, let's be honest, a sensational job to keep those tyres alive. I can't remember when he boxed. I think it was before lap 10 he boxed. And he's keeping those mediums alive. What a legend. But this is really where I've been trying to learn this league and this season of league racing. I think it's no secret that I've been quite a lot of times too aggressive in F1 esports and going for moves that weren't really on. And I could have sent it there. I could have sent it, but I decided to be smarter and be more reserved. And this is really part of my strategy this year in F1 esports, is to be a lot smarter in my overtaking, my racecraft, and trying to maximise my chance of winning the championship this way as well. Better pace, of course, as we want more pole position and we want more race wins. But you can see we've got 4 seconds to Bari, and my plan is just to overtake Jarno on this lap. So we're not even spending the battery yet. We're just chilling behind him, leaving a gap just in case there's like any desync issues or something. but staying within range that we can make the overtake down the straight. See, different lines here, very interesting. Jarno prefers to get the car pointed, then straight. I prefer to go straight, then point towards the next corner. But either way, we've got the DRS open, and you can hear me say thank you, because Jarno doesn't really put up a fight, you know. I watched his stream back, and he was very smart to try and follow me in my slipstream, but my tyres were just so fresh at this point that I was able to pull away. I had very low battery, but again, that was just in my whole race strategy of spamming the battery every time I had the opportunity. But lap 30 of 31 is to go 7 seconds pretty much to Bari. Wilson Hughes came from like P13 to podium. Absolute sensational drive. Jarno's keeping those tyres alive as well. What a guy. But through the final lap, and this is all just about trying to keep your focus, trying to keep the calmness. We've got 7 seconds, so we don't really need to push too much, but I always believe in these situations, if you lift off a bit too much, you can be prone to making mistakes. We've done 30 laps pretty much without mistake at the moment, so there's no reason to really change anything. Through Sector 1, is only a 10th away from our PB if the preview window is correct there. So we are still keeping the pressure on ourselves to keep the pace up, but we ultimately know we don't need to throw it in a wall, let's say. But yeah, this was a special race for me, of course, because this was the first time in a very long time I've won, let's say, a big race. And this is a big race. Psgl is debatably and most likely, debatably, the most competitive Formula 1 league outside of F1 esports. So we have Bari here, we have Jarno, we have Nicholas, we have so many up-and-comers like Wilson, Jake Benham as well, Tomek. The grid is stacked, you know, and I was happy to come through with pole position and then be able to lead the race like this and then come through. For me, it was a special moment as I almost put it in the wall. Go on, you know, you're going to be pushing to the final corner. But for the final few corners now, bumping over the curbs as usual. But you can see, of course, very happy with the win. But I'm going to leave you guys and girls here. Thank you so much for watching, and I promise I will be uploading the rest of the season as well as more hot laps. Of course, F1 22 content. How could I not? It's a great game. I'm very excited for it. So, stay tuned for that. Comment what you thought of the race. If you want, hit the like button, hit subscribe as well. And I'll be happy to welcome you to the community. Thank you so much, everyone. Ciao, ciao. Grazie, bye.